Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo, and it's great to be on the show where we discuss all things books. We just like to talk books on Channel's Book Club. We like to talk to authors, writers, publishers, policymakers, and just generally dig into books. That's what we do here, and it's been great over the years. Well, today we've got a special book to review on the show. Everybody will retire one day. That's one thing about time. Merciless. No sentiments. Time just ticks. Tick tock. Tick tock for everybody. Whether you're Hispanic or Asian or Nigerian, African, European, whatever it is, time ticks for everybody. And one day, everybody will retire. Either forcefully or willingly. Everybody will get tired one day. I mean, at the very least, there will be a time when we can't run as much as we used to run. That's just a reality of time. Well, this book, Retirement in Nigeria by Felix Amadi, thick book, it explores the subject of retirement thoroughly. The smart thing to do, even as a young man, is to begin to prepare for old age, prepare for retirement time. Is a smart thing to do. And here in this book, Felix Amadi explores every important area of consideration when it comes to retirement. Finance, well-being, health, and all those things. They're all considered here. And we'll be having him here as a guest on this show. Before we get into the conversation with him, let's get to know Felix Amadi a lot more. And then, retirement in Nigeria. Let's do it.
Felix Amadi is an insurance broker, pension consultant, and author. In 1980, Amadi was one of the best graduating students of the Department of Actuarial Science and Insurance, University of Lagos. He later obtained the Master of Business Administration from the same university in 1988. Amadi has worked as an administrator of pension in public and private institutions, including education, health, transport, shipping, aviation, oil and gas, civil service, and the security forces. He holds associateship of the Nigerian Corporation of Registered Insurance Brokers, diploma of the Chartered Insurance Institute, United Kingdom and Nigeria. Amadi joins Channel's Book Club to discuss his book, Retirement in Nigeria.
Chief Felix Amadi, nice to have you on Channel's Book Club.
It's my pleasure, Kule.
It's great to have you here.
I'm so happy to be with you.
I am happy to have you. Wow. What a great book you have written. Relevance, importance. Important and relevant. Important because we all need this. We all need it. Retirement in Nigeria. But before we dig in, I want to create a context, which is you, the author of the book, the journey that led you here. I would like you to speak a little bit about the experiences you've had, and what eventually, motivated you to put this together, because I know it has a lot to do with many years of experiences.
Oh, yes. First, let me thank you for the compliments. I studied insurance, and it became my career. That is, I'm close to more than 40 years.
40 years?
In the insurance industry. Part of the work I did from 1987, when I started managing an insurance outfit, Crown Insurance Brokers, has been to manage pensions of organizations. I can tell you I managed the Minister of Health, Minister of Education, and quite a number of other big institutions like Cadbury, manage their pensions. And in doing this work, you come face to face, not just with the laws of pension or the theories of pension. You come face to face with the individual.
With people.
Who are either retired or about to retire or joining service. And evaluating them, you come to the realization that without planning, they end up the same way, big or small, end up the same way.
Without planning?
Yes, end up the same way. So my journey to focusing on retirement management started in year 2000 when the then Ministry of Defense, in fact, it was Mrs. Dukwe Adelaja that gave me that job, to review military pension, because a lot of retired soldiers were destitute all over Ikoyi.
Retired soldiers?
Retired soldiers. They were sleeping on the streets of Ikoyi. And we are moving to Abuja to, in fact, all over Zone 4 in Abuja, we could find them. After that job, I started focusing on the management of retirement, which is something not similar to the kind of things you see in the market. How to live my life in retirement is the highest you can find. But this is a process. From planning.
From planning?
To the person enters the grave. It is a whole process. So that it is a kind of life management process, so to say.
So I guess this experiences motivated you to write this book eventually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But before we dig in, I still want to ask. I want to ask. And I know you wrote, this in this book in different ways, but over the years, meeting pensioners, meeting retirees, meeting people who were about to either leave work, into retirement, or all the people you've met regarding this subject. What three things would you say stand out for you in terms of observation?
Number one is the fact that a lot of retirees live with what this book has aptly described as retirement living gap.
Retirement living gap. Yeah, you wrote that.
And retirement living gap mirrors the gap or the variance between what is needed to keep the retiree living a normal life, not anything better than a normal life.
Normal.
Standard normal life. And what he has, if what he has to sustain himself is less than what he needs to live a normal life, he's living with a gap. And this gap, when aggregated at the national level, we now get what we call social burden. Social burden is dangerous for the nation.
In the country.
The country. Living gap is not good for the individual. Therefore, the need for making sure that these things don't happen.
Okay.
That is one.
One.
Number two, I feel the urge to let the world know it is important to speak up for Nigerian retirees. And they are everywhere, in the states, in the local governments. They are suffering and dying. And advocacy in their favor is not strong enough. That motivated me into putting this book together, so that if we begin with reading through, somebody can say, let me act it out. Number 3, there is no literature. No literature that is strong enough to stimulate the teaching of retirement management. I ask myself, why is retirement management not part of the courses read in the faculty, in the business school? We are reading about Christian religious knowledge and all that, and people graduate. Retirement is an issue, not just only in Nigeria, all over the world. Look at what is going on in France. If there is no literature that will stimulate other writing, because this is not going to be a lot of people are going to write.
Yeah.
Based on what they have found in this book, they are going to expand so many things there. Then you can now find people sitting down to say, look, I am researching on this. Look, I am doing this about this. So the paucity of literature led to this. Look, there must be something serious. Serious work must come here. Let you open the door for better works, more serious works. That's number 1. Number 4, it is related to this, and it is research. In this field of retirement management, so to say, research is needed. We want to know, research is needed. If, for instance, social work, how do you take care of the elderly who is retired? Right now, all our children are living in Canada, they're living in the UK, they're living in Australia. And every retired person is expected to be taken care of at one level, at one time or the other. The people, the children who is by culture are supposed to be close to take care, they are away. There has to be training, there has to be research and training on how to manage these arising issues. And there are quite a number. Nigeria, our country, and when compared with countries of its size, it's only one that has no social security program for the elderly. In South Africa, all elderly people below 65.
Chief Amadi, did I hear you right? That Nigeria is the only country that does not have.
These are the countries that have the kind of size and capacity.
Okay, of all the countries of our size,
yes,
we are the only ones that don't have.
Yes, social security program for the elderly.
For the elderly, social security program
for the elderly. In South Africa, it is called old age grant. Among, old people collect. In Canada, it is called old age security.
Yeah, it's one of the most baffling things to me. Why we do not, as a country, I mean, we don't have enough care for the elderly. It's a big concern. It's a big problem.
So when you are talking about the things that motivated me to write, these are some of the things. And if we want to be, we'll begin to expand them. That I was actually pained to ensure that these things I have written, which are things that our contemporary society really need to begin to address.
Yeah. Retirement is a scary thing in Nigeria, isn't it? I mean, while your book explains retirement planning,
yes,
we need to plan for it and
yes,
all that. But when you look at the context of our country,
yes,
like you just said a few minutes ago, how we don't have social security programs for the elderly and all that. For most people, it's a scary expectation, right? Isn't it?
It is. It is. But let me explain. And it is the reason why it has to be.
You don't walk into it blind. You have to prepare for it.
Yes. In fact, that thing that makes it scary has to be removed. And no, it's not just by the employer through a pension plan. No. Three stakeholders are involved. One,
the individual.
The individual is a stakeholder. Mm-hmm. It is not the employer that will tell you how to keep your money and how to live your life and how to prepare for, That's it. The other stakeholder is the employer.
The employer.
The other stakeholder is the government. That makes pension policies. That is the laws. The employer has to now, based on those policies, to make sure that there is a proper implementation and ensure that whatever that employer is supposed to do for the benefit of a proper retirement of the day is done. You know what we see now? There is pension contribution. At the end of the month, take it from the part of their salary, apart from government, the employer, it is sent to the PFA, Pension Fund Administrator. Fine. Do you know that a lot of contributors don't get to see their pension fund administrator until they retire, and they now see their office is somewhere in Ikeja. Then you begin to wonder to look for when, as a matter of fact, it is the duty of the employer to ensure that the pension fund administrator that is managing the individual, where they, look,
it's accessible.
There is need for communication, access, a little training, and all that. So that at the end of the day, the person can comfortably say, yeah, those people, I've come to them, this by road came from them 5 years back, they have retired. You go, you get there. But that is not happening.
That's not happening. Chief Felix Amadi, Retirement in Nigeria, a management approach. Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you, Kunle. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. I hope this book is easy to find out there for people.
Yeah. Most of the airports, the bookshops.
Okay.
And, I can see them, they're selling.
Okay.
They're selling, but we also have for those who call us directly, we can package and send to them.
Okay, this book is so important that yes, we're very happy to direct people to. Especially about to be retired people. I read them to you to get.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Copies. Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, all the time. Each time you are on television on this, I will gladly watch.
Thank you,
and
sir.
I appreciate the fact that people are still writing. Even when a lot of people say they are not reading, let people continue to write.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So much more you will find in this book, Retirement in Nigeria, packed in there. Food for thought. It was nice discussing with Felix Amadi on retirement in Nigeria. Get ready for retirement. no matter how young you are, get ready for retirement. Start getting ready for retirement. Start thinking about the future generally. I might sound so serious and tomorrow will take care of itself, that kind of thing. But no, it's good to be smart and to live life very, very wisely. The decisions we take today will affect us tomorrow. Let's always remember that. Of course, you have heard of Hilda Dokubo. Who hasn't? In Nigeria, famous filmmaker, activist, etc., etc., etc. She just launched her new book, an inspirational memoir, The Waterside Girl. What a book it is. We were there. Enjoy this.
The term, the waterside girl, refers to females who grew up around coastal communities, especially the Niger Delta environment. Most times, childhood for such girls is difficult as they are deprived of basic amenities and comfort, while some are even sexually abused. The book, The Waterside Girl, mirrors Hilda Dokubo's history, her journey so far, and how she pushed through to hit stardom regardless of circumstances.
The Waterside Girl is a memoir that has been made. It's a collection of stories and of periods in my life. It's a true story. It's become an inspiration for other people. So it's a story of a young waterside girl who it seemed when she started off had no future, but created her own future and is still on the journey. There's also this segment for young waterside kids who have been sexually abused and are therefore children raising children or children suffering under the impact of early pregnancies or rape or health conditions and all of that. Then we
At the unveiling event, the actor's friends, family, colleagues and fans were present in a sizable number to support the book launch and Dokubo's pet project.
Now, just to give an illustration.
The reviewers who know the author well shed light on how Hilda withstood the storms and still turned out a star and role model for the younger generation.
Hilda is a typical waterside girl all through her life. From where she lived, Creek Road, Waterside. Where she went to school, Harbour Road. Harbour is Waterside. So anyhow you look at it, Waterside girl.
She learned her mother's truth, and she was told to live it and also to act it. Then, through her life experiences, she discovered her own truth that she has shared with us in The Waterside Girl. She rose to stardom at 7, being a radio broadcaster, found by Auntie Dolly. Those of us in the 80s will remember Auntie Dolly's program on NTA. She became a child presenter in that program, taken to the radio station every weekend by her father.
On whether she intends to turn the Waterside Girl book into a movie, as a filmmaker, Hilda Dokubo says perhaps it's in the works for the future.
Someday it will be a series, it won't be a movie. A movie is too small to tell my story.
The high point of the occasion was the unveiling of the book and the Waterside Girl Project, a charity foundation that aims at helping the less privileged Waterside Girl child.
The Waterside Girl, that's a book to get. And talking about memoirs, you should write your own memoir. I hope you take notes. I hope you have a diary, you keep events, dates, time, people you meet, and all those things. Just start doing that now. One day, you'll be ready to write your own memoir, and those things will become useful. I remember working with a gentleman some time ago who said he wanted to write his memoir. And I said, what do you have? He just smiled at me and said, let's go. And off we went, opened this large wardrobe, and I saw 30 years of stacked diaries. And I mean, it was just journals and diaries and all that. I said, what is this? He said, I've been writing this for over 30 years. I said, what? And he opened it, and he could remember everything that had happened over the last decades. Everything, dates, time. events and all that. Wow. So it's good to, just journal, keep those things down, write them down. One day you will want to write your own Waterside Girl or Waterside Boy, whatever your own title is. Hilda Dokubo has done hers, and we all need to do that. Let's document history. Let's tell our stories. Let's live our stories for our children's children. If our forefathers in Africa had been doing that, we will not be confused about our history today. There's a lot that we could have written down many, many, many years ago. But then there's the oral side of history, the oral passing down history through narratives, oral narratives. And, well, our forefathers were excellent at doing that. So today, we still have our stories being passed down orally. But the power of writing. It's consistent, power of writing. So let's write down our stories and hand them over to our children's children. Well, our social media platforms displayed on your screen are still very active, so keep your messages coming. We'd love to get your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. They help us to improve as we continue to grow on this show. So keep them coming. As always, my name is Olakunle Kasumo. And remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.